Okay, we have word problems. If you guys want to, you can go into Canvas and you can pull up the blank notes. So if you want to look at these, the actual word problems, they're on Canvas, or if you want to write on Canvas, that's fine too, or you send it to Notability or whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, question 1. John needs to hire a painter. Painter A is offering his services for an initial $175 in addition to $14.25 per hour. Okay, so let's write down, this is example 1A. I have a painter that has a fee, an initial fee of $175. So just to come to your house, he charges $175. And he charges $14.25 per hour. Painter B is offering her services for an initial $200 in addition to $11 per hour. So the other painter starts at $200 and they charge $11 an hour. For what number of hours will the two painters charge the same amount of money? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so there's painter A and painter B. We're going to come up with an equation for both painters. So painter A it's a constant rate of change. So it's going to be written in slope-intercept form. So we're going to write it as y equals. When I look at the numbers, so that first line, that was painter A. They charged $175 to start, and then they charge $14.25 each hour. So think about what's the slope. The slope is the number that keeps changing per something. So your slope is going to be the per hour. So this is your M. And your starting rate, that's your y-intercept. That'll be your B. So when you go to put it into y equals mx plus b. So the M is the slope. So go ahead and put y equals 14.25. Then we always put an x. And then we put the y-intercept, so plus 175. So that painter has a slope of $14.25, but starts at $175. Okay, painter B, same thing. Y equals, their hourly rate is 11, so the 11 is the slope. Don't forget to put in your x, so it's 11x. Plus their starting rate is 200. Okay, if you have a graphing calculator, grab that. I'm going to show you how to do it on the graphing calculator first, and then I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. Desmos, I'm sure, does this. I don't know how to do it on Desmos yet. 5th hour, I have Miss Polderman in here, and she uses Desmos, so she'll probably show me how to do it. Okay, so go in. Let me clear everything out real fast. Okay, so if you have a graphing calculator, we're going to take these two equations and we're going to put them into the graphing calculator. So click y equals, so y equals is right here. We had two equations. So if we look at, where's my paper? We're going to put in this equation first and then this equation. So y1 will be 14.25. Then your x is right next to the green key, plus 175. Okay, arrow down to y2. We're going to put that second equation in there. 11, and then an x, plus 200. If you need to borrow a graphing calculator, come bring me your phone. Okay, let me just show you right now. If I click graph, most of us probably have our window where it's going 10 in each direction. If I look at the original equations, though, they have these big y-intercepts. Like this one's hitting the y-axis at 200. So I need my y-axis to go really, really high up. to actually see this graph. So to change your window, it's right here next to y equals. It says window. Click window. This is usually the default. It goes like 10 in each direction. We want it to go really far up so that we can see where it's hitting. So you're really just kind of guessing. So the X minimum, maximum, those are fine. The scale, it's going by ones, that's fine. You could probably leave those alone. Your minimum, sure, leave it at -10. Okay, the Y maximum, so the Y-axis is your up and down. I know I need to hit at least 200, plus it's going up. So I'm going to change that to probably 500. Because I need this graph to show me a lot. So press graph, and we want to see if we can see where the two lines intersect. If you don't see it on the window, you'll just go back into window and adjust and make your numbers bigger so that you can see where they intersect. So this graph needs to show both lines and where they cross, because where they cross is going to be the answer here. So to figure out what this point is, we need to go into calc, which is right here. It's above where it says trace. So to hit that calc, you have to press second. So press second and let go, and then press trace. I have some people that are trying to press them both at the same time. No, just hit second, let go, and then press trace, and that'll get you to calculate. We're going to intersect. So type in 5, or you can scroll down. So you're asking the calculator to figure out where did those two lines intersect. Okay, it should be blinking on one of the lines. So it says, is this the first curve or the first line? Just hit enter to say, yeah, that's the first line where it's blinking. Now it's going to be blinking on the second line. So is that the second line? Click enter. Now it's guessing where they intersect. You're going to use your arrows and kind of just guess. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to kind of guess that they intersect about right there. So just move your cursor to where they cross. Hit enter. Here is where they actually cross. This is cutting off. So it's hard to read it because where I'm recording, but let me write it down. It says x equals 7.692. I think it says 397, blah, blah, blah. 615. Okay, so on the bottom down here, it has these numbers. Right now it's messed up because of my recording of my screen. But this is what pops up. So I'm asking what amount of hours. So I'm asking for this number. Remember, I'm rounding to the nearest tenth though. Tenth is 1 decimal spot. So my answer is either going to be 7.6 or 7.7. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. So to figure out if I stay at 6 or round up, you look next door. Next up door is a 9, so that does mean I move up. So they're going to be the same. At x is approximately 7.7 hours. So those two painters, when it hits about 7.7 hours, they're going to charge the same. And later you will get questions that say, and how much is that? They'll both charge about $285 at that point. But this question is not asking that part, it's just asking for your x. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this by hand. So we have those two equations. We're going to set each of these equal to each other. So painter A, we're going to put 14.25x plus 175. I'm going to have that equal to the other equation, which is 11x plus 200. So you can use your graphing calculator. That's okay with me. If not, this is how you do it by hand. Draw your line going down from your equal sign. We're just solving for x. Right now I have x's on both sides. I have 11 x's and I have 14.25 x's. Get rid of one of them. It doesn't matter which one. I always get rid of the smaller one. 11 is smaller, so I'm going to get rid of it. It's a positive 11, so to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract 11 x's because I want them to go completely away. If I subtract 11 x's from one side, I have to subtract them from the other side, and I'm lining up my like terms. So I'm putting x's on top of x's to make it easy. Okay, if I have 14.25 x's and I take away 11 x's, I now have 3.25 x's. I still have plus 175. Bring down your equal sign. 11 x's take away 11 x's is no more x's. I don't have an x left at all. I still have a positive 200. Okay, look at the side that has the x. Get rid of the constant, so get rid of the other term. So to get rid of a positive 175, (175) minus 175 is 0. 200 take away 175 is 25. And then the last step is to divide by 3.25. So when you do that, we'll end up with 25 divided by 3.25. That's that x value that we came up with. And we rounded the nearest tenth, so it rounds to 7.7. So x is about 7.7 hours. So you don't have to do both ways. Just pick one way, whatever way works for you. Okay, let's try another one like that. Georgia is in need of an electrician. Electrician A is offering his services for an initial fee of $125 in addition to $45 per hour. Okay, so electrician A has an initial fee, a starting fee of $125, and they have a fee of $45 per hour. Electrician B is offering her services for an initial fee of $150 in addition to $38 per hour. So the other electrician is $150 for an initial charge, plus they charge $38 an hour. For what number of hours will the two electricians charge the same amount of money and round to the nearest tenth? So the first thing we're going to do is write the equations. So go ahead and write me two equations in slope-intercept form. Write an equation for this top electrician. Y equals this is electrician A, this is electrician B. Electrician A will be Y equals, the slope is what keeps changing per something, so that's $45 an hour, so 45. Then we put an X, and then the starting rate. They start at $125. You'll never pay less than $125. And then electrician B, $38 an hour plus their initial fee. Okay, so if you want to do this by hand, it'll be 45x plus 125 equals 38x plus 150. Go ahead and solve for x. For those of you using the graphing calculator, here we go again. So if you're using a graphing calculator and you think you're going to forget the steps, maybe right now write down the steps as you're doing them. So go maybe to a fresh piece of paper and write down these steps. So the first thing you're going to press is Y equals. Clear out whatever's in there. So if you're writing down your steps, first write Y equals, and then clear out whatever's in there. Okay, type in the two equations. 45x plus 125. Your X key is right next to the green key. 45x plus 125. Arrow down to get to Y2. That one is 38x plus 150. Okay, look at your y-intercepts and decide if you need to change your window anymore. I'm thinking our window is still set to 500, so I'm thinking it's probably big enough. Okay, press graph. So click graph and see if you see where the two lines intersect. If you don't see them, then you need to go back into your window and change your window settings. I do see where they intersect somewhere right here. So to figure out where they intersect, we need to go into calc. So to get to calc, since it's written in blue, I need to hit the blue key second, and then I need to hit trace to get into calculate. Go down to intersect, so number 5. You need to tell your calculator that yes, this is the first curve or the first line. Hit enter. Now the cursor is on the other line. Hit enter. Now move your cursor where you're guessing where the intersection is. Hit enter. And now it will give you the actual answer. So the x value, x will be approximately, it says we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So this says 3.57 blah, blah, blah. So that's approximately 3.6 hours. So at 3.6 hours, they're going to charge the same amount of money. If you did it by hand, here is the work doing it by hand. So you should have ended up eventually with 25 divided by 7. 25 divided by 7 is about 3.6. Just so you know, I combine 2 steps in this line. When I do my work myself, yeah, I usually combine steps. Okay, the next one you're going to do by yourself, or you can do it with people sitting around you. Okay, Sarah's going to hire a clown for her daughter's birthday. Clown A is offering services for an initial fee of $100 in addition to $11 per hour. So we're going to go ahead and, this is on your own. The clown is an initial fee of $100. And then they also charge $11 per hour. Then there's another clown that has an initial fee of $150, but that clown only charges $8 per hour. I want to know, when will they charge the same? And round to the nearest tenth. When will they charge the same and round it to the nearest tenth? Okay, go ahead and work on that. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my graphing calculator. So the two equations are y equals 11x plus 100 and y equals 8x plus 150. So if I go into y equals, I clear. This is okay, when I graph these, it looks like it's hitting somewhere way out here, which I can't see. So I'm going to go back into my window, and I want it to go farther away, farther down on the X. So go to window, and I'm going to make the X maximum, maybe 20 or 30. Actually, let me do 30. And now hit graph. So now I can see they intersect right here. So hit second and trace. Go to 5. The first curve, yes. Second curve, yes. And then arrow to where it looks like they intersect. Hit enter. The intersection is at 16.6666 going on forever. So it's at approximately 16.7 hours. That would be a long time to have a clown at your house. Jesus. That's a little scary. No. What's that? Okay, now we're going to move on to the last example. These ones we can just do the math for. We don't even need the calculator. Okay, 2A. Tara has $800 in a bank account that she uses to make automatic payments of her $101.51 monthly cable bill. If Tara stops making deposits to that account, when would automatic payments make the value of the account 0 and round to the nearest tenth? So she has $800 in this account. And she's not depositing anything else, so it's not going to go up from $800. So we're just going to assume she has the $800 in there. Then she's going to make her cable bill, which is $101.51. She's going to have those automatically come out of her account every month until she's used up all that money. So I want to figure out when is it going to use up everything in the account. So this is a linear equation, which means we can put it into slope-intercept form. So it'll be y equals, the slope is the number that keeps changing per something. So per month, we're going to still pay the cable bill. But keep in mind, we're paying a cable bill, so your money in your account is going down. So your slope is actually going to be negative 101.51. Because you're paying that bill every month, so they're deducting that 101.51, so that's why we're going to make it negative. Okay, now put your x. And then there was $800 in the account, so we started with $800. I want to know when will the account be 0. So substitute 0 in for y. And now we're just going to solve and figure out how long it takes for the account to get to 0. So look at the side of the equation that has the x. Get rid of the other term. Get rid of the constant. So get rid of plus 800. So subtract 800. 0 take away 800 is negative 800. Look at the side that has the x. Right now it's multiplying, so to get rid of multiplication, we divide. Don't forget you're dividing with that negative. So divide by negative 101.51, not by positive. Okay, when you plug that into your graphing, into any calculator. So if I put in negative 800 divided by, bless you, negative 101.51. Okay, we get 7.88 blah, blah, blah. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. So that's one decimal spot. So it's either going to be 7.8 or 0.9. So look next door, it's an 8 next door, which means I have to bump that 8 up to 9. So x is approximately 7.9 months. So that means she can use this bank account for 7 months, but once it hits month 8, she's going to overdraw. She's going to have late fees. They're going to charge her. Okay, let's try another one. Craig has $18.50 in a bank account, and he uses it to make automatic payments for his car loan of $400.73. If he stops making deposits, when would automatic payments make the value of the account 0 and round to the nearest tenth? Okay, so he started with $1,850 in the bank. He's using it to make car payments, which are $400.73. I want to know when will the account in the bank account be 0. So he's not adding anything else to the bank account, so he leaves it at that $18.50. But every month, this car payment is coming out. So it's y equals, the slope is the number that keeps changing. So every month he has to pay this. Since it's coming out of his account, we're going to deduct it. So put negative 400.73. Then put an X. And then he started at $1,850. I want to know, when will the account be 0? So set y equal to 0 and solve it for x. Look at the side that has the x. Get rid of the constant. Because that money's coming out each month, so they're deducting it. So first, minus the $1,850. And then divide by your coefficient. Negative 1850 divided by negative 400.73. X is approximately 4.6 months. So he can use that bank account for 4 months, but at 5 months he's going to overdraw. Okay, last question. Cassie has $2,000 in the bank. She's making mortgage payments of $900.01. When will her account be 0? So she starts with $2,000 in the bank. Every month she has to pay her house payment, and it's $900.01. Go ahead and figure out, when will her account be 0? 2 months. Okay? Okay, we have an activity we're working on. There's not a whole lot of time today, so if not, this is homework. I need everybody looking at me right now. You need to finish this tonight. Too often you guys sit in here, you do a few minutes worth of work, and then you don't look at this again. You are turning this in for a grade. That means you're doing this tonight, or you're doing it in your other classes when you have a few minutes of downtime, which you guys know you have. You're going to finish this and turn this in tomorrow.